Hi everyone, my name is Lily and I'm the book reviewer behind Utopia State of Mind. And today we're going to be chatting about my favorite picks for the Libro FM sales for July. If you're new here, every month I make a video talking about my recommendations for the current month Libro FM sales. If you don't know about Libro FM is an audiobook subscription service for $14.99. You get 1 credit for an audiobook every month. On any other audiobooks you buy, also in the sale, you'll get an additional 30% off the sale price. I'm an active member myself, so I'm not going to quote you the prices because it's a little bit different for non-active members, but all the audiobooks that you buy also with your credits, they are yours forever. You don't need an active membership though to buy any of these sale audiobooks. You just need a membership which you can sign up for free, and then at any point you can choose if you want to become an active member. By the way, all of the links below are going to be affiliate links. If you don't want to use those affiliate links, which give me a commission if you use them, that's fine. Just search them. It's easy to find Libro FM, and it's also easy to find Libro FM sale books. Libro FM is an independent audiobook subscription service, so basically also they do not support Amazon, and all of your purchases will go towards supporting an independent bookstore of your choice. My independent bookstore that I'm currently supporting is Books of Wonder. Now we're going to get into the actual audiobook picks. So I'm going to be working off of 3 different things. The first one is the YA Club list. This is a curated list of YA picks for the month. The second one is the Kiss Club. This is for romance picks that also curated for the month. And the third are just sale audiobooks that I've seen that don't fall into either of these categories. So let's talk about, first of all, the YA picks, because there were a bunch that I would definitely recommend. The first one is Their Vicious Games. I actually read an arc of Their Vicious Games and really loved it. It has a dark academia feel, also with like some murder. It talks a lot about a prep school or like an elite boarding school, which has these competitions, and 12 young women students are chosen to compete in mysterious events. So definitely recommend that, especially if you want kind of a high-paced action thriller about academia and also about elitism and classism as well. The next one is The Bones of Ruin, which is the first, it's a series opener I'm not exactly sure what the series is called, but the last one, which I'll put a cover up, just came out. So this is definitely a great way to start a series and then decide if you want to continue the series. Basically, this is a difficult one to describe because the whole series is kind of like a historical fantasy set in an alternate 1880s with a African tightrope walker who is in a circus, but also there are deadly games and competitions, and it also has the Charlize Theron, The Unbroken. I'm not really sure what is it called with Charlize Theron, who's doing those new it's a Netflix series, The Old Guard. It has the Old Guard vibes as well. So it's a lot of different things in it. I definitely love this mashup of kind of historical fiction, fantasy, meets her trying to figure out her own past, meets sort of a committee which holds a tournament as well. So all in all, loved that one. The next one is She's Too Pretty to Burn, which I actually listened to on audiobook, so can also recommend the audiobook. She's Too Pretty to Burn comes from Wendy Hurd, and Wendy Hurd is one of my favorite auto-buy thriller authors, mystery authors. I have loved everything Wendy Hurd has written, and She's Too Pretty to Burn is a story about best friends and also about kind of like this relationship with a best friend, which can feel like it's going in a lot of different directions. It's also a inspiration, or it's a reimagining also of The Picture of Dorian Gray, which I love reimaginings where I haven't read a lot about them, and this one is one of my favorite in terms of inspirations of Picture of Dorian Gray. It talks about love, art, obsession, and power, which is huge themes in The Picture of Dorian Gray, and definitely in She's Too Pretty to Burn. The next one is The Lady Rogue, which I remember really enjoying. And The Lady Rogue is kind of like a treasure hunting book. I really love treasure hunting books. And so basically, she is Theodora, the main character, has a treasure hunting father. Her father ends up going missing, And then she is enlisted to help rescue him along with her father's protege. I love treasure hunting, archaeological, anything to do with that. I love that so much. And I really, really enjoyed this one. The next one is Journey to the Heart of the Abyss. This is actually the second book in the Light of the Abyss or Light the Abyss duology. So obviously, if you haven't read The Light at the Bottom of the World, then you won't really be interested in this one. But if you have read that one and I've been waiting to pick up this one, it is available in audiobook. This is a sequel, but basically The Light at the Bottom of the World and the Light the Abyss series is really devoted to talking about the world in the future. It is a sci-fi set in the bottoms of the ocean, basically. It talks about the climate change that had to happen in order for everyone to kind of live at the bottom of the ocean, but it also is talking about surveillance and governments, and also talking about an us versus them mentality as well. So definitely really enjoyed that one. The next one is The Keeper of Night by Kylie Lee Baker. If you love heroines who are not afraid to get dirty, if you love like morally complicated heroines, The Keeper of Night is definitely one of them. It also features a biracial main character who's working through the feelings of not only being half British, half Japanese, but also talking about sort of Reaper versus a Shinigami. I really loved this book so much. I love also the second one, which is I think The Empress of Night. This is solidified Kylie Lee Baker's sort of position in my mind about being an auto-buy author. You might recognize the name from The Scarlet Alchemist, but loved The Keeper of Night so much. The next one is Lucky Girl by Jamie Paxton. Jamie Paxton is another auto-buy author. I'm talking about all my favorites here. And Lucky Girl is a story that talks a lot about what would happen to be lucky. So she has won the lottery, but she cannot come forward to claim her prize because she's a minor. She's also worried that if she tells her mom is going to cash it and then increasingly become more of a hoarder. And so she's not really sure what she can do in order to get the money, and also what it means to be lucky, how you make your own luck. Her best friend is trying to find the lucky winner, and her ex-boyfriend is also back in town. So really enjoyed this one, and the way that it talks about money and luck and sort of what would happen with that too, with that much money. I think you see a lot of things about people who win the lottery and actually their lives don't end up being perfect. It's always just like, oh, if I won $1 million, but there are so many strings attached to it, kind of people that come out of the woodworks. And so Lucky Girl talks about that. Next one is Battle of the Bands, which is an anthology. It's read by a bunch of different narrators. I love a full cast. I love multiple narrators, so I had to recommend this one. And also Battle of the Bands is an anthology that to me has such a cohesive idea and story behind it. So the whole story behind Battle of the Bands anthology is that it is an actual night Battle of the Bands, and each author takes a different perspective, a different band, a different character within this night. I love a good cohesive anthology concept. I love when they're kind of feeling like they're all Easter eggs, so definitely would have to recommend Battle of the Bands. The next one is Sunny Song Will Never Be Famous by Suzanne Park. This is one of my favorite books by Suzanne Park. Suzanne has written a bunch of different books, and Sunny Song's main goal is that she's a influencer, and so she ends up having to be shipped to a digital detox farm camp, where there she has to really think about kind of her priorities, what she wants in life, unexpected friendships, and what it would be like to be unplugged from the internet, especially as an inspiring influencer or as an influencer. Next, I'm going to chat about the Kiss Club. This is the romance-themed curated playlist. The first one is Amore Actually, which is a holiday romance anthology all inspired by Love Actually stories. Loved this one so much. If you're like me and you cannot escape the Love Actually movie craze around the holidays and you don't mind that, but you've always wondered, why are these people so white? Amore Actually is amazing. It takes all of these different stories and all of these different tropes that you see in Love Actually, turns them on its head, makes them extremely diverse, I love this one so much. I listened to this one also in audiobook form, and it is amazing. The audiobook narrators for these were fantastic, and I loved the variety of different stories in it. Have to recommend. I was so happy when I saw this one on the list. Next one is The Worst Best Man, and it's an own voices enemies to lovers novel. The main character is left at the altar. She's a wedding planner, and she's also left at the altar, so you can see how this would be complicated for her. She's offered the opportunity where she has to collaborate with the best man from her own failed nuptials to make this happen. So obviously incredibly fun. As I already said, it's going to be an enemies to lovers book. The next one is Ren Martin Ruins It All. The main character is asexual, and he wants to abolish the annual Valentine's Day dance. He's just like, let's use the money for other things. And other people are kind of like, well, why don't we change this around a little bit? His opponent is a vice president and also a perfect student. It's kind of like they're rivals, basically. Leo's solution is to partner with Buddy, which is a not dating app, to kind of make this dance a little bit more friendly to everybody. To me, it kind of has vibes of kind of like, what's it called? Oh, what am I thinking about? The movie with Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks. Oh my god, I'm blanking on so many things. I'm just going to search Meg Ryan, Tom Hanks. You've Got Mail. Oh, I cannot believe I forgot that. It has a You've Got Mail vibe in the sense that the app has an anonymous component, and so you talk to people on the app as well. So it has that kind of vibe as well, and I think it was really fun to watch these characters get to know each other. The next one is Love at First Sight. This one was so fun. It is an adult debut from Jennifer Dugan, who's written a bunch of different queer, YA, contemporary romance stories, which I've really loved, and this is the adult debut, and it's basically a person, she is basically begged by her best friend to be a +1 to his sister's wedding. She ends up getting kind of drunk and ends up giving a pep talk to someone in the bathroom, who turns out is not only her best friend's sister, but also the bride-to-be, to leave her future, not, I guess, gonna be husband-to-be. She is determined not to tell anyone that she broke up this wedding before it even started, and so basically his sister is obviously directionless and kind of feeling a little bit unmoored, and she is given the task to entertain his sister, even though they know, but no one else knows. The next one is The Song of Achilles, which is super, super hyped. A lot of people have been talking about The Song of Achilles, but if you haven't read it, I actually listened to this on audiobook. The performance was fantastic. You feel the romantic angst in it. Basically, The Song of Achilles is a story about Achilles. It is a retelling of the legend of Achilles. And because of that, because it's like a Greek tragedy, because it's Greek, basically, there's a lot of angst. There's a lot of tension. It's an epic love story, and it talks a lot about what we would do for our destiny and what we would do for love. The next one is Sleepless in Dubai, this is actually a TBR pick for me. I definitely recognize the author. I cannot figure out which one. The author has written My Sister's Big Fat Indian Wedding. I feel like if I haven't read that one, I feel like it's on my TBR. But anyway, it is a rom-com about two teens traveling to Dubai for Diwali, in a hate-to-love romance. Very excited for this one. It says it's perfect for fans of Tokyo Ever After, which I really enjoyed. So this one to me is an audiobook TBR. I'm actually just gonna add it to my cart right now. I haven't read it, but I'm really interested in that one. Now I'm gonna chat about some audiobooks that weren't really in any of these categories. And the first one is Belladonna. I have really, really enjoyed this series by Adeline Grace. I really liked Adeline Grace's other book before this, which had sirens/mermaids. Belladonna has this figure of death. And so I've read Belladonna and Foxglove, and so I don't want to spoil Foxglove, so I have to actually look at what happens in Belladonna. But basically, she has been taken in by her remaining relatives, and her remaining relatives, one of the daughters ends up suffering from a mysterious illness that killed her mother as well. And so that her her mother's spirit, I guess, comes to the main character, Signa, and tells her that she was poisoned, and so she needs to figure out how she was poisoned to figure out how to save her daughter, who is also her friend. And so basically, she needs to make an alliance with death to figure out this out. It is a very swoony, romantic, fantastical kind of deathy story as well. And I really, really enjoyed Foxglove, even though after Belladonna, I was like, where is this going? And the next one, Restira, I am so excited for. I listened to the audiobook of Foxglove and I really enjoyed it. And so I would imagine the experience would be similar listening to the audiobook of Belladonna. My camera has stopped like 6 times. So if I'm moving around each time, slightly, that's why. The next one I want to chat about is The Bone Houses. This is actually on my TBR, so I'm just going to be reading straight from it. The reason why I wanted to pick this up is that it's narrated by Moira Quirk, and I've been reading a lot of things narrated by Moira recently. Moira narrated Gideon, Harrow, and Nona, and so I've been reading a lot of things. I've really enjoyed Moira's narrations, so that's why this one has kind of been something that I looked at. It's basically, as it says here, Buffy the Vampire meets Sky in the Deep. It's an historical horror novel. I've really been looking for historical horror novels. So this one's on my shelf. Like, it's been on my library queues. This book was made for me to read it, but I just haven't read it yet. The main character is a gravedigger. Her whole family are gravediggers. And so they're trying to scrape together or cobble together a livelihood for each other, but the dead don't always stay dead. So the next one is The Manor House Governess. It takes inspiration from authors like Charlotte Bronte and Jane Austen. It's like a gothic feeling. I don't know if it's historical because it doesn't say the time period. I was really excited for this one. I actually own this audiobook. I have this one as an e-copy as well. So this one I probably should read. I was intrigued by the comparison to Charlotte Bronte, but also I don't really love Jane Eyre. So intrigued by this one. But basically, Bronte Ellis grew up as an orphan and was forbidden from expressing his gender identity. He then leaves St. Mary's behind and goes to Greenwood Manor as a live-in tutor. So I feel like this is going to be a gender-bent Jane Eyre retelling based on what I've read so far. And yeah, because there's a Mr. Edwards, there's a pupil named Ada. Okay, so this is a gender-bent Jane Eyre retelling. Probably the only thing that will get me to read a Jane Eyre retelling is if it is a retelling of a diverse identity, which is not necessarily from Jane Eyre. Just because I, for example, read and really enjoyed a Jane Eyre retelling, which was Escaping Mr. Rochester. I really enjoyed that one. So I think that's my kind of baseline for Jane Eyre retellings. It's not that I hate Jane Eyre, it's just not really for me, based on a lot of the different things that happen, which is why reading a retelling or reading a reimagining to me is an added opportunity to really dive into the things that we don't really make sense or that we don't necessarily like about the original. So those were all of the books in the Libro FM sales that I wanted to chat about. A lot of really great picks for you to choose from this month. And yeah, I hope you have a really great rest of your reading day, week, month, and year. Let me know what your current audiobook is in the comments below, and I will see you in the future.